My beloved child, do not dismiss what you are feeling today, because something has already begun to move behind the scenes. You have wondered why certain memories have returned, why one particular person keeps crossing your mind, why your spirit refuses to let this story fade away. It is not by accident. There is movement where you cannot see it. There are conversations taking place that you have not heard. There are hearts being stirred that you cannot touch. My dear one. Someone is being encouraged by their friends and family to talk to you. Again and again they are hearing the same words. Reach out. Don't stay silent. You need to tell them the truth. The pressure is growing. The silence is becoming heavier than the fear they have carried for so long. My child, while you believed nothing was changing, everything was changing. You thought the distance meant the story was over. You thought the silence was permanent. You thought you had already seen the final chapter. But what you call silence, I have been using as preparation. Every delayed conversation has had a purpose. Every unanswered question has had a reason. Every lonely night has been shaping both your heart and theirs. My beloved, there are people around this person who have noticed something is missing inside them. They have watched them pretend to be strong. They have seen the regret hidden behind forced smiles. They have heard your name mentioned when they thought no one was listening. They have witnessed moments when your memory suddenly interrupted an ordinary day. Little by little, those closest to them have begun saying what they refused to admit before. You should talk. You should stop waiting. You should be honest. Those words have followed them into quiet mornings, into restless evenings, into moments when they believed they could simply forget. But forgetting has become impossible. My dear one, while they have been wrestling with fear, you have been wrestling with disappointment. While they feared rejection, you feared abandonment. While they questioned whether you would listen, you questioned whether you were ever remembered. Yet neither heart has known the whole story. That is why I tell you now, do not allow bitterness to become your permanent language. Do not let impatience convince you that nothing is happening. Do not build walls where healing is preparing to enter. Because what is unfolding cannot be rushed, but neither can it be stopped forever. My child. I have seen every tear you never explained to anyone. I have heard every silent prayer you whispered when no one else understood. I have watched every moment you smiled in public while quietly carrying questions inside your heart. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has gone unnoticed. Nothing has escaped my attention. The pain you endured was never meant to destroy you, it was meant to strengthen your spirit until you could stand without depending on human approval. You needed to discover your worth before another voice could recognize it. You needed peace before another person's decision could define your future. That is why you must remain steady now. Do not chase. Do not force. Do not panic. Remain calm. Remain faithful. Remain ready. Because while you are learning patience, someone else is learning courage. Every day their excuses become weaker. Every day the encouragement around them becomes stronger. Every day the thought of speaking to you refuses to disappear. My beloved, there is a difference between delay and denial. Many people confuse the two. They assume that because something has not happened yet, it never will. But timing often works in ways the human heart cannot immediately understand. What seems late is sometimes arriving at the exact moment when both lives are finally prepared to receive it without repeating yesterday's mistakes. So guard your heart. Guard your words. Guard your peace. Do not let temporary emotions cause permanent damage. Something important is drawing closer than you realize, but before that conversation can finally happen, there is one more hidden battle taking place behind closed doors. And what is being decided there will explain why everything had to unfold exactly this way. My beloved, do you remember what I revealed to you at the end of the last message? I told you there is one more hidden battle taking place behind closed doors, a battle no one has spoken to you about, a battle that explains why every delay has carried a purpose. My child, that battle is not against you. It is happening within the heart of the one who has remained silent for far too long. Every day they wake up believing they can ignore what they feel, and every day something reminds them of you. A familiar place. A certain song. A conversation they never expected. Even the smallest memory becomes impossible to escape. My dear one, they have tried convincing themselves that moving on would be easier than speaking honestly. Yet peace has not followed them. They have discovered that silence may hide emotions, but it never heals them. Every excuse they create lasts only for a moment before another voice reminds them of what they have been avoiding. And those voices are becoming louder. Friends who once stayed quiet are now saying, "You've waited long enough." If they're still on your heart, maybe there's a reason. You'll regret saying nothing more than hearing an answer you don't expect. Family members who know pieces of the story are beginning to notice the sadness behind their eyes. They may not know every detail, but they recognize unfinished emotions when they see them. Without realizing it, they have become instruments pushing this person toward honesty. My child, I have ways of speaking that go beyond what human understanding can explain. Sometimes I speak through peace. Sometimes I speak through conviction. Sometimes I speak through unexpected conversations that seem ordinary, yet carry extraordinary purpose. That is why this person keeps hearing the same message from different people, in different places, on different days. They cannot escape it. The reminder returns again. And again. And again. Talk to them. Stop running. Face what you've been feeling. My beloved, while this is happening, I have also been working within you. You have wondered why your heart has become stronger. Why certain painful memories no longer break you the way they once did. Why you have started choosing peace over desperation. That is not coincidence. That is growth. You are becoming the person you needed to become before this next chapter could begin. Because if this conversation had happened months ago, both of you would have carried the same wounds, the same fears, the same misunderstandings. Now, healing has begun. Not because everything is perfect, but because both hearts have slowly started recognizing what truly matters. My dear one, do not mistake temporary quietness for permanent separation. Seeds grow beneath the soil long before anyone sees a single leaf. The deepest changes happen where human eyes cannot look. That is exactly what has been happening here. I have been preparing words that have never been spoken. I have been softening pride that once refused to bend. I have been replacing fear with courage, one quiet moment at a time. The person you have been wondering about has replayed conversations in their mind more times than you know. They have imagined reaching out, then stopped. They have picked up the phone, then put it back down. They have written words, then erased them. Not because they stopped caring, but because fear kept whispering. What if it's too late? What if they don't want to hear from me? What if I've already lost everything? My child. Fear always speaks the loudest just before courage decides to answer. That is why you must not become discouraged now. Do not allow impatience to steal your peace. Do not allow assumptions to become your truth. Remain steady. Remain hopeful. Remain wise. Because every passing day is bringing this moment closer than either of you realizes. The encouragement surrounding them is no longer occasional. It is constant. Everywhere they turn, someone reminds them that unfinished stories rarely disappear on their own. And deep inside, they know those words are true. My beloved, when the moment finally comes, it may happen more suddenly than you expect. The message, the phone call, the unexpected conversation, it will arrive after an invisible chain of events reaches its final link. But before that happens, there is something even more remarkable taking place that neither of you can yet see. And understanding it will change the way you view every painful delay you have endured. My beloved, can you feel how everything has been quietly moving beneath the surface? In the last message, I told you that an invisible chain of events has been forming, link by link, moment by moment, until the time is right. My child, that chain is almost complete. What once seemed like scattered moments are beginning to connect into one greater purpose. Nothing has happened by chance. Every delay, every silence, every unexpected turn has been preparing a moment that neither you nor the other person could have created on your own. My dear one, there is something I want you to understand with all your heart. People often believe that healing begins when someone finally speaks. But many times, healing begins long before a single word is ever spoken. It begins when pride grows tired. When excuses lose their power. When regret becomes heavier than fear. When the heart realizes that staying silent is causing more pain than telling the truth. That is where this person now stands. They have reached a place where pretending has become exhausting. The image they tried to maintain. The distance they tried to protect. The emotions they tried to bury. None of it has brought them peace. Instead, every quiet night has become a reminder of what remains unfinished. Every new day begins with the same question echoing inside them. What if I simply tell them how I really feel? And every time that question rises, another voice answers. You should. My child, never underestimate the power of encouragement spoken by people who genuinely care. Sometimes a single sentence from a trusted friend becomes the turning point someone has needed for months. Sometimes a family member says one honest thing, and suddenly every wall begins to crack. Those conversations have been happening. Again. And again. And again. Some have gently reminded them that life is too short to carry unspoken words. Others have warned them that opportunities do not wait forever. Some have simply looked into their eyes and quietly said, "If they're still in your heart, why are you still hiding?" My beloved, those words have stayed with them. Even when they tried to ignore them. They returned. Even when they distracted themselves. They returned. Even when they convinced themselves they were fine. They returned. Because truth has a way of refusing to disappear. My dear one, while they have been facing the truth about their own heart, I have also been revealing something to yours. Your value has never depended on whether someone chooses to speak. Your peace has never depended on another person's timing. Your future has never been limited by another person's fear. Remember this. Remember it again. And remember it once more. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not invisible. The love, kindness, patience, and strength you have shown have not been wasted. Every lesson has been shaping a stronger version of you. Every disappointment has taught you deeper wisdom. Every unanswered prayer has stretched your faith until you could stand even when you did not understand. My child, this is why I have asked you repeatedly to guard your heart. Do not let anger take the place where hope belongs. Do not let resentment become the voice that speaks louder than compassion. Do not allow yesterday's pain to decide tomorrow's response. Because when the conversation finally arrives, you will not need to respond from old wounds. You will respond from new strength. That strength is my gift to you. It is the evidence that you have grown. My beloved. I know there were moments when you believed the story had already ended. I know there were nights when you whispered. If they cared, they would have spoken by now. I heard every one of those thoughts. I understood every tear behind them. Yet what you could not see. I was already working beyond your sight. I was preparing hearts. I was teaching humility. I was removing fear one layer at a time. And now, the atmosphere around this situation is changing. The resistance is becoming weaker. The courage is becoming stronger. The encouragement from friends and family is becoming impossible to ignore. Soon, very soon, this person will realize that remaining silent requires more effort than finally reaching out. And when that realization settles completely into their heart, everything will begin to move far more quickly than you imagined. But my dear one, before the first words are spoken, there is one final preparation taking place within your own spirit. It is the most important preparation of all, because it will determine how you receive what comes next. And that is where the next part of this message begins. My beloved, we have come to the moment I have been preparing your heart to understand. I told you there is one final preparation taking place within your own spirit, and this preparation is more important than the conversation itself. My child, words can open a door, but only a healed heart can walk through that door without carrying yesterday's burdens into tomorrow's blessing. Listen carefully. This is not only about someone finding the courage to speak to you. This is also about you finding the wisdom to receive what is spoken. Because not every apology sounds perfect. Not every explanation arrives wrapped in beautiful words. Not every heart knows how to express years of emotion in a single conversation. Sometimes people speak with trembling voices. Sometimes they struggle to find the right words. Sometimes they pause. Sometimes they cry. Sometimes they simply whisper what they should have said long ago. My dear one, if you only listen for perfect words, you may miss a sincere heart. That is why I have been strengthening your spirit. Not so you become hard, but so you become discerning. Not so you become distant, but so you become peaceful. Not so you forget the past, but so the past no longer controls your future. My beloved, there are moments when I ask my children to wait. There are moments when I ask them to trust. And then there are moments when I ask them to remain open. Because something meaningful is approaching. This is one of those moments. Remain open. Remain calm. Remain grounded. Do not allow fear to write the ending before the story has even reached its next chapter. My child, while you have been wondering whether they still think about you, there has hardly been a day when your memory has not crossed their mind. Your kindness. Your laughter. Your conversations. Even the silence between you has spoken louder than either of you expected. There were moments when they almost convinced themselves they had forgotten. Then someone mentioned your name. Then they saw something that reminded them of you. Then another friend quietly asked, "Have you talked to them yet?" The question followed them everywhere. At family gatherings. During long drives. In quiet evenings. In ordinary conversations that suddenly became deeply personal. Again they heard, "Don't let pride steal what matters." Again they heard, "You'll always wonder what could have happened if you never try." Again they heard, "Reach out before the opportunity becomes a memory." My dear one, encouragement has become impossible for them to ignore. Even when no one speaks. Their own conscience continues the conversation. That inner voice has become stronger than the fear that once controlled them. My child, remember how many times you believed everything was standing still? Yet beneath the surface, I was arranging moments. I was opening hearts. I was placing the right people in the right conversations at the right time. Nothing has been random. Nothing has been forgotten. Nothing has escaped my hands. Do not measure my work by what your eyes can currently see. Measure it by my faithfulness. Measure it by the strength I have already given you. Measure it by the peace that has slowly replaced panic. Because that peace is evidence that I have never left your side. My beloved. There is another truth I must place gently into your heart. Whether this conversation happens tomorrow, or later than you expect, your identity remains secure. You are deeply loved. You are deeply valued. You are deeply seen. No human decision can erase what I have already spoken over your life. So release the pressure. Release the anxiety. Release the endless questions. You do not need to force what I am already guiding. You do not need to chase what is already being drawn toward honesty. Stand with confidence. Walk with dignity. Speak with kindness. And let your heart remain anchored in peace. Because peace will recognize the right moment long before fear ever does. My dear one. I can already see the day when silence finally gives way to honesty, when guarded hearts become vulnerable, when hidden emotions are finally spoken aloud. That moment is drawing closer with every passing day. But before those words are exchanged, there is one unmistakable sign that will appear first, a sign so personal, so unexpected, that when it happens, you will immediately understand why every delay had a purpose, and that sign is what I will reveal in the next session. My beloved, we have arrived at the moment I asked you to wait for. I told you that before the silence is broken, before hidden emotions are finally spoken, there will be a sign. Not a sign to make you fearful, not a sign to make you anxious, but a quiet reminder that life is always moving, even when your eyes cannot yet see the full picture. My child, the first sign is not found in the other person's actions. It begins within you. You will notice a peace that does not make sense. A peace that arrives without explanation. A peace that gently replaces the endless questions that once kept you awake at night. You will suddenly realize that you are no longer desperate for answers. You still care. You still hope. But you are no longer controlled by uncertainty. That change is not weakness. That change is strength. That is what I have been building inside you all along. My dear one, when your heart is no longer ruled by fear, it becomes ready to recognize truth. You stop imagining the worst. You stop creating painful stories that have never happened. You stop allowing yesterday's disappointments to become tomorrow's expectations. Instead, you breathe. You trust. You remain steady. And while that transformation is happening within you, another transformation continues within the one who has remained silent. The encouragement around them has not stopped. It has become even more personal. A trusted friend has reminded them. Some opportunities don't return forever. A family member has quietly asked, "What are you waiting for?" Someone who genuinely cares has looked into their eyes and said, "If your heart is still carrying this, then stop pretending you're over it." Those words have stayed with them. They have echoed through quiet mornings, through restless nights, through ordinary moments that suddenly became unforgettable. My beloved, there comes a point when truth refuses to remain hidden. There comes a point when the heart grows tired of running. There comes a point when courage finally becomes stronger than fear. That moment is approaching. Closer. Closer. Closer than you imagine. My child. Do not misunderstand what I am saying. Do not place your hope in another human being. Place your hope in the one who has carried you through every season. Because people may disappoint. People may hesitate. People may struggle. But my faithfulness has never changed. I was with you when your heart first broke. I was with you during every lonely evening. I was with you when no message came. When no phone rang. When every day felt exactly the same. I never abandoned you. Not for one moment. Not for one heartbeat. Not for one single tear that fell from your eyes. My dear one. I have watched you become stronger without becoming bitter. Kinder without becoming weak. Patient without giving up. That is a beautiful victory. Never underestimate how much your quiet perseverance has changed you. The person you are today is not the same person who first entered this season. You have learned to stand. You have learned to wait. You have learned that your value does not disappear simply because someone else needed time to find courage. My beloved, repeat this within your heart. I will not be ruled by fear. I will not be ruled by doubt. I will not be ruled by impatience. I will remain peaceful. I will remain faithful. I will remain ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Hold on to those words. Speak them when uncertainty whispers. Speak them when memories return. Speak them when your emotions try to outrun your wisdom. Because every time you choose peace, you become stronger than yesterday. My child, the season of unanswered questions is not meant to last forever. Every story reaches a turning point. Every long night eventually gives way to morning. Every silence reaches the moment when words can no longer be held back. And when that moment arrives, let your first response be wisdom. Let your first response be grace. Let your first response reflect the healing I have already planted within your heart. Because what comes next is not only about a conversation. It is about a new beginning built on honesty instead of fear, on courage instead of regret, on peace instead of confusion. My beloved, one final message remains. It is the blessing that seals everything I have spoken, the promise that reminds you who has been holding your future from the very beginning. In that final moment, every fear will be answered with hope, every question with peace. And every waiting season with a reminder that you were never walking alone. My beloved, this is the final part of the message I have been placing gently upon your heart. From the very beginning, I have reminded you that silence does not always mean absence, that delay does not always mean denial, and that what is unseen can still be deeply meaningful. Now I ask you to gather every word you have heard, not with fear, but with hope. My child, release every burden you were never meant to carry. Release the endless wondering. Release the exhausting need to know every answer. Release the weight of trying to control what is beyond your reach. There is freedom in letting go. There is peace in trusting one step at a time. There is strength in believing that your worth has never depended on another person's ability to speak. My dear one, someone may indeed be finding the courage to reach out. Someone may be hearing wise voices encouraging honesty. Someone may finally be ready to stop hiding behind fear. If that moment comes, receive it with wisdom. Listen before you judge. Understand before you respond. Allow truth to unfold before you decide what comes next. And if life unfolds differently than you expected, do not believe that your future has been taken from you. Because my plans for your life have always been greater than your fears. My beloved, never forget this. People can encourage. Friends can advise. Family can support. But no human voice is greater than the quiet strength that grows within a heart that has learned patience, compassion, and peace. That is the greatest gift this season has given you. You have become stronger. You have become wiser. You have become more compassionate. You have learned to stand even when you did not have all the answers. That growth is a blessing no one can take away. My child. When you look back on this season one day, you may realize that the greatest miracle was not simply whether someone spoke to you. The greatest miracle was who you became while you waited. You discovered courage. You discovered resilience. You discovered that hope can remain alive without becoming desperate. You discovered that peace is possible even when every question has not yet been answered. Carry that peace into every tomorrow. Carry that wisdom into every conversation. Carry that compassion into every relationship. My dear one, do not allow fear to be the loudest voice in your life. Let hope speak. Let kindness speak. Let forgiveness speak where it is wise. Let healthy boundaries remain where they are needed. Walk forward with both an open heart and clear wisdom. You are not called to lose yourself. You are called to grow into the person you were created to become. So lift your head. Take a deep breath. Leave yesterday where it belongs. Walk into today with quiet confidence. And welcome tomorrow without fear. My beloved, before this message ends, I want you to remember 3 simple truths. You are deeply loved. You are never forgotten. You are stronger than you know. Hold those truths close whenever uncertainty tries to steal your peace. Return to them whenever your heart feels heavy. Let them remind you that no season of waiting lasts forever, and every season has something valuable to teach. Now I leave you with this blessing. May your heart be filled with peace that remains steady through every uncertainty. May wisdom guide every decision you make. May compassion shape every word you speak. May courage rise whenever fear tries to hold you back. May you recognize the value within yourself every single day. And may you continue walking forward with hope, knowing that every step taken with faith, patience, and love is never wasted. My child, thank you for listening with an open heart. Go forward in peace. Go forward in hope. Go forward with courage. And never forget. You are deeply loved. You are deeply valued. And your story is still being written. If this message brought encouragement to your heart, take a quiet moment to reflect on it. Share it with someone who may need hope today, and let its reminder of patience, courage, and compassion continue beyond this moment. ***. May peace be with you, always. ***.